Good morning, everyone. Day one of NFL free agency is officially going to be here in 5 minutes. Man, get ready for hopefully some good news. Hopefully, the Houston Texans actually make good moves here, which is never guaranteed at all. But we've got the Twitter feed ready. We're ready to go. I guess I will start with some of the stuff that's already happened. We've seen Sheldon Rankins get signed to a two-year contract worth $12 million. This is a good move. Sheldon Rankins knows the system, performed really well for the Houston Texans, so I love this. Perhaps the biggest news, though, is Ed Ingram getting that extension that I wanted. I will go and put my hand out there and say that I wanted this Ed Ingram extension. 3 years, $37.5 million, $12.5 million a year. That's fine, man. That's solid value. Yes, you paid a lot, but it's not like they paid him $20+ million. Like $13 million is solid for Ed Ingram. And Sheldon Rankins is another good signing. So yeah, I'll put my hand out there and say that I was down for the Ed Ingram. I was down for the Ed Ingram signing. I know a lot of people have a polarizing reaction to Ed Ingram. Whether you think they could have done better, whether you think that he's not a great pass protector, but this just takes pressure off of Nick Caserio, right? You no longer have to fill in potentially 4 spots on the offensive line. Now the maximum amount of spots you have to figure out on the offensive line is 3. So I like the Ed Ingram deal. I think it's solid. Reporting coming out saying the Falcons are expected to make a strong push to sign Tua Tagovailoa. What are we doing, Falcons? What are we doing, Falcons? If that breaks first, that's going to be insane. Rest in peace to Falcons fans if that breaks first. But if you're just joining, biggest news, Ed Ingram signed to the Houston Texans, the standout guard. I like this deal. Look, at the end of the day, is it a little pricey? Sure, it's a little pricey, but now there's less pressure on Nick Caserio, right? Nick Caserio now can only mess up 3 spots instead of 4 because you have Ariante Ursery, Ed Ingram, Trent Brown could start, Jarrett Patterson could start, or we could actually spend money. We could actually spend money and really try to make wholesale changes to the offensive line. Wouldn't that be great? And then defensively, the only news that's really come out is Sheldon Rankins signed 2 years, $12 million in guaranteed money. So I wonder what the ceiling of that contract is. Minimum $6 million a year. It's fine. That is fine. 2 minutes away, guys. 2 minutes away. Let me just get on Instagram. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Sheldon Rankins is a good signing. Become a little less thin at D tackle, so I think they're in a good spot right now. They have a lot of money they can spend, due to all the extensions that we kind of covered in yesterday's video. But, all right, 1 minute. 1 minute before things get crazy. Travis Kelce is expected to return to the Chiefs. That's fine. He's washed. That is fine. I wonder what that contract looks like. That'll be interesting. The Travis Kelce contract will be interesting just to see what an age Travis Kelce gets in comparison to the Dalton Schultz extension. Dalton got $12 million. So that's interesting. Shout out Ed Ingram's post on Instagram. That's funny. Mr. Ed Ingram is hyped. That's good stuff. All right, it's officially 11 a.m. It's officially 11 a.m. Get ready for hopefully some big moves. Let me just make sure we're not missing anything. Wow, no immediate signings at the whistle. Not that I can tell of, at least. There's really no moves the Texans could make that would really disappoint me. but, you know, we shall see if I can get over to my right accounts. Dun, 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 dun. Bro, no way Twitter just kicked me out. I don't see any updates yet, though, on Instagram. At least not from Schefter. Oh my gosh, Twitter. I don't see anything. Are you guys seeing anything? As Twitter is not letting me in. Come on, bro. Alright, we're gonna have to switch. We're gonna have to switch accounts. Which is fine. We'll make it work. We'll make it work. Make it work. Side account. Burner account. Alright, I don't see anything. Just make sure. It's 11:02. I don't see anything. Give it a couple more minutes. Yeah, as I was saying, I don't think there's any terrible moves that could be made right now. Obviously, the big name is Linderbaum. We want to see that happen. But I'm not seeing anything. We'll see if Alec Pierce remains with the Colts. That's kind of some other things to watch. Shout out Twitter for kicking me out of my account and not letting me back in. That is awesome. Wow, I'm not seeing anything. Let me know in the chat if you guys are seeing anything. I'm seeing Falcons expected to sign Tua or make a strong push, and I'm seeing Travis Kelce probably coming back to the Chiefs, both of which have very minimal impact on the Texans. Just trying to see if the Travis Kelce, if the contract's out. I don't see it. What a quiet free agency so far. Only 4 minutes in, but hey. I don't know what Falcons fans think about Penix. They must not be very high on him. I know they weren't. They were extremely disappointed when they drafted him instead of getting support for Kirk Cousins, but yeah, I don't know. No news yet. No news yet. Okay, here we go. Here we go. We've got a little something, I believe. If I can refresh this. I hate Twitter's search. Let me just confirm. Oh, yep, here we go. All right, first big news. Indy lands its top target. Free agent wide receiver Alec Pierce is returning to the Colts with a 4-year, $116 million deal. Holy shit. What is that? Why can't I do math? $29 million a year for Alec Pierce. Holy shit. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for Alec Pierce. Woo. Nico Collins is making what, like 24 and a half? Nico Collins is making 24 and a half a year. Alec Pierce gets $29 million a year for the Colts. Wow, that is a big move. Look, a part of me wanted Alec Pierce out of Indianapolis. I'm not going to lie. I think he's torched us twice this year. 1 year, I think one of the games you could make the argument that if he remains in the game and doesn't get thrown out, the Colts probably beat the Texans with Riley Leonard. I believe that was that game where he got thrown out. Wow. $29 million for Alec Pierce. I saw the reporting saying that he might have gotten, they're thinking he might get $30 million. I didn't want to believe it. And Alec Pierce is a solid receiver. Like, I think he has 1B potential. I don't know if he's a solidified 1A yet. I mean, we've only seen a season and a half probably of like true anything close to wide receiver 1 production. At least, when I watched the Colts and I watched that team. So I was fully expecting him to be gone from the Colts in the offseason. What are they doing at quarterback, though? That's the thing. Like, I know they tagged Daniel Jones. Or they did that weird tag where they can, like, trade him or whatever. Allow him to move. Wow. He stays in the division. I don't love it. But $29 million just feels extreme. That feels extreme. It's kind of nice to not be in the wide receiver market right now. Wow. Man, he has been torching. He has torched us. Anything else from Shefty? Let's check the feed. EJ Speed reacted to his signing too. He's hyped. Good to see that. The EJ Speed signing I didn't talk about much, but that's a good signing. That's a good backup linebacker to have in case the worst were to happen to Aziz or To'o. No Christian Harris, though, for sure. Christian Harris isn't on the team anymore. All right, since there's nothing else, we're going to keep talking about this Alec Pierce thing. I wonder if I can pull up his stats against the Texans. Let me do that right now. $29 million. In 2025, he broke 1,000 yards. So that was the first year where he broke an 1,000-yard season. Gets the extension he was looking for. 132 yards against the Texans in the last game of the season. And that's the one he got ejected out of, I remember. 78 and a touchdown the first time we saw him in 2025. 2 touchdowns against us that last game of the season. So, I mean, yeah, he's a good receiver for them. He really had a breakout year, but $29 million just feels extreme. It's like, it just every year the contracts just exceed themselves. What's Linderbaum doing, man? Give us some Linderbaum news. Wow. Ian Rappaport just posted something very interesting. Let me pull that up really quickly. Which I don't know how relevant this is to the Houston Texans. But okay, more details on that. 49ers are now said to be open to trading Trent Williams if the situation doesn't get resolved. Resolution has not been easy. Williams has been frustrated with the process. He's due $32 million in salary with a $38 million cap hit number. I'm pretty polarized on the Trent Williams thing. Like, yes, he's probably the best tackle in the league still. Yes, he's aging, but he's elite at his age, so why does it matter? I don't know. If you sign Trent Williams, you have to move Ariante Ursary to right tackle, which I guess is fine. I almost feel like I'm fine without Trent Williams on this team. Like, yes, I understand the caliber of player he is, but at the price, at his age, like, I don't know if I love it. I feel like I'm in the minority on that. But I'm perfectly fine if they don't make moves for Trent Williams. Alec Pierce's people are hating on the people hating on the Alec Pierce contract, and it's like, yes, no one's denying that he's not a really good receiver, but $29 million is a little insane. I can't believe the Colts did it. That puts him right around Scary Terry, Brandon Ayuk. That's a bad comp. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Waddle, DJ Moore. I mean, I guess it makes sense. But yeah, he's immediately what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like top 10 paid receivers in the league. Shout out Nico Collins, $24 million a year. That is a steal right now. I'm surprised Nico Collins isn't banging on Nick Casario's door asking for an extension. See if there's anything else. For now, I think it's just that. I think it's just Alec Pierce, the reporting on Travis Kelce, the reporting on Trent Brown, and the reporting on Tua. I think don't the Dolphins they're taking like a $99 million cap hit releasing Tua? That's insane. That should have never happened. Come on, where's like the breaking news? I need more. Let's check. Romeo Dobbs is set to sign elsewhere. Okay, Tyler Linderbaum's been targeted to the Raiders and the Commanders. I'm not seeing anything yet, though. Adam adds, very insightful. Colts prioritize keeping Alec Pierce and Daniel Jones. Pierce gets a big deal. Jones gets the transition tag. That's the word I was looking for. Good for them, man. Good for them. Now they have their wide receiver one. Or at least they've extended it. Guess I'll talk about Crosby going to the Ravens. I mean, if you're a Ravens fan, you've got to feel pretty good. The only reason you weren't really in contention, you could make the argument, is because you didn't have a pass rush. And you go out, you get a top 5, top 4 pass rusher. It's unfair. Unfortunately, the Texans will probably have to see him if they have any dreams and desires of going to an AFC championship. At some point, you would think there's going to be a game between them that means something. Two first-round picks, I think, is fine. I don't hate the Crosby news, the Crosby trade for the Ravens. Really for the Raiders either. If you're the Raiders, you get 2 first-round picks. You get a high pick this year, I believe. Okay, I got some more news. Not as big, I would say. Veteran receiver returning to, or signing with the Falcons. Bang. Cornerback Eric Stokes has agreed to a 3-year, $30 million deal, keeping the former first-rounder in Las Vegas. That's actually not a bad deal. That's not a bad deal for Stokes. He was a solid corner for the Raiders. I don't hate that deal for them. At this point, you're just trying to keep pieces around. You've got a lot of rebuilding to do for the Raiders. So Eric Stokes will remain a Raider. And then the Patriots are signing Draymond Jones to a 3-year, $39.5 million deal. Wow, $14.5 million in year 1. That's fine for the Patriots as well. Desperately needed to bulk up on the pass rush. How old is he? Isn't he pretty old? He's 29. 29-year-old end. Gets him out of Baltimore. It's like a whatever move. Patriots needed pass rushers too, though, for sure. Still not really a huge splash there. I think just, decent moves. Polymarket said that Trey Hendrickson is likely to go to the Cowboys. You get a little surprising. Let's see what else. See if we can pull up anything else. It's like the moment I get off, I know that's just going to explode. That's how it always is. Wrap. I wonder if Colts fans are, I guess Colts fans, yeah, they'd be fine. $29 million a year. That's not that bad. You're getting $20 million extra in cap space. Where's the Linderbaum news? Yeah, I bet Linderbaum's going to make a bag. 20 plus million. I think if you're the Texans, you're really just making sure that Braden Smith doesn't get signed. You're making sure that Wyatt Teller doesn't get signed. And you're making sure you're curious about what happens to Tyler Linderbaum, because it wouldn't I see a universe where the Texans are in on Tyler Linderbaum. It wouldn't completely shock me. It would still be very surprising. Well, I think you're just keeping an eye out for these offensive linemen, which I don't think there's been there hasn't been a single offensive lineman that's made a move yet. Besides Ed Ingram, but I mean, that doesn't really count. Should mention that Draymond Jones, 7 sacks in 2025, career high. 51 pressures in 2025, also a career high at 29 years old. So I guess he's on the come up. I don't know. That Ravens pass rush was not good. So I'm not going to be like super excited for Patriots fans over that. It's like decent deal. 14.5 guaranteed. So I bet they can move on from him after like 2 years. I bet that's what it is. Colts are hyped. 20 million guaranteed for Stokes. It's a fine deal. Veteran wide receiver. It's all the juicy stuff, man. I do think this free agency class isn't just like, it's just not that great too in general. Like you've got a couple of big names at the top like always. And that's pretty much it. And the Texans still need a left guard. They could still make a move at center. So be curious to see if anything happens. Probably give it like 25 more minutes just to see. Because the moment I get off, they're gonna blow up some deal.
The Dolphins are already paying him.
Oh. Ah. Oh, God. Is this real? Dude, is this real? Oh, that's disgusting. This isn't real, is this? I'll post my reply, bro. Is this real? Are you kidding me? Kenneth Walker to the Chiefs? I'm not seeing it anywhere else. This is his official account though, right? Oh my goodness. That's a huge move. If I just need like one more person to confirm it. Wow. Yeah, it's legit. There goes Shefty. Wow. Okay. I need to see how much they did this for, honestly. That is brutal for the league. Like, interesting, though. This probably means Jeremiah Love doesn't go to the Chiefs. Maybe they are thinking they never even had a shot at him, because I know there was some teams that were super interested in him above the Chiefs. I need to know how much this is for, because like what does the contract look like? Obviously, if you're the Chiefs, you get the biggest running back name in the market, and I just need to know how much it is for. That's insane. I mean, they had to have paid pretty premium money. I wonder if the Texans were ever in on the Kenneth Walker conversation, and I would expect them to have been in on it a little bit and then just it got too expensive. But I mean, if you're a Chiefs fan, that is great news. I mean, former NFL Super Bowl MVP Mr. Kenneth Walker goes to the Chiefs. Well, I need to see how much he got paid. Because if Kenneth Walker took a slight discount to go to Kansas City, that would really piss me off. Deanna Rossini, teams that were interested in Pierce included the Patriots, Raiders, Chargers, and 49ers, but most had a strong belief that he would return to the Colts. Wow. I mean, the Chiefs rushing game just gets instantly better. I guess they're out of the Jeremiah Love sweepstakes, or not sweepstakes, conversation. That is a scary, scary backfield. Honestly, Jeremiah Love, like, I know the Saints showed interest. What is it? The Titans believed he was the best player in the draft. I'm pretty sure the Giants were interested in him, so I am extremely interested to see where Jeremiah Love goes. And I don't think it's out of the question the Chiefs still pick him up if he's there at 9. But yeah, Kenneth Walker's a beast. Him next to Patrick Mahomes is going to be unfair. If Patrick Mahomes starts healthy. But even then, you got to think they're going to have a rushing game no matter what now. So yeah, let's see if there's any reporting. There's no reporting on the contracts. Dude, this is so crazy. Oh, that hurts. I was a proponent for just giving him the bag and seeing what happens. I was completely fine with giving Kenneth Walker the bag, but I don't know. I still think the David Montgomery trade was the right thing to do. Like, we'll see how much the Chiefs ended up paying Kenneth Walker. If it was over $15 million, like, miss me on that. David Montgomery's what, $9 million a year for the Texans. You had to give up a fourth. Like, that's fine. Obviously, Kenneth Walker is the best running back in free agency, so him going to the Chiefs kind of sucks. But I think a big thing with the Chiefs, right, is like, is Patrick Mahomes going to start day one? If he does, then I think they'll be right back to where they were because the rushing games just got extremely good. I'm really high on Kenneth Walker. I think, yeah, their offensive line struggles a bit. Couple misses in the draft recently, but this is filthy. This is disgusting. If Kenneth Walker took a pay cut to stay or to get to the Chiefs, that's going to piss me off. That's so stupid, dude. That is so stupid. Good for them, honestly. Good for them. Pacheco hasn't looked the same since the injury. Yeah, I mean, wow. Any offensive line news? Any Texans news? Because I am not seeing anything. Wow, Schefter was so late on the Eric Stokes thing. Probably breaking the Kenneth Walker. Again, I'm going to say it again. I need to see how much they paid him. Because if they got him for a steal, it's going to be really upsetting. I do feel like, I mean, you know, if you're Kenneth Walker and you get a chance to play with Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback, like, yeah, you probably take a somewhat friendly deal. And I'm wondering if that's if that is what happened. All right, so Kenneth Walker, the biggest name. Trey Hendrickson's still out there. Tyler Linderbaum's still out there. Wyatt Teller, Braden Smith, all the big O-lineman for the Texans potentially is still out there. So honestly, probably the biggest news for the Houston Texans, I mean, yeah, the Kenneth Walker Chiefs news is pretty big, but I'd say the Alec Pierce thing, just keeping Alec Pierce in the division, seeing him twice a year when he's on the trajectory of turning into the next T.Y. Hilton, like that's probably the scariest thing, air quotes. Kenneth Walker coming to the AFC and Max Crosby going to the Ravens certainly isn't great. Again, it just goes to show you that you have to be all in. If you're the Houston Texans and you're seeing the Ravens get Max Crosby, the Chiefs getting Kenneth Walker, like you have to be all in to stay afloat with these teams. You have to. And I don't know if they're going to spend money on the offensive line, but they need to, because that is this team's biggest weakness. It's the Chiefs' biggest weakness was what? Offensive line, rushing attack. What do? They get the best running back available. What was the Ravens' biggest weakness? Pass rush. What do? They get Max freaking Crosby. The Texans' biggest need, offensive line. What do? It's like, okay, Trent Brown gets a contract. That's good. Ed Ingram gets a contract. I don't hate it. Now, can we get a Tyler Linderbaum? Can we get, Braden Smith? Can we get a Wyatt Teller? They're both not the same caliber of player as Tyler Linderbaum, but I don't know, man. You gotta make moves. You gotta make splashes. You can't take the money with you. Might as well spend it in free agency. That's my whole philosophy on it. I mean, certainly the Chiefs and the Ravens are doing that, giving up all sorts of draft capital too. There's been so much reporting saying Mike Evans is going out of Tampa. I literally can't see it. I mean, I'm sure he might, but I can't see that. But if you're, fellow Texans fans, like none of this is, I mean, not a single offensive lineman assigned, at least yet. So I don't see anything. Let's see if I can pull up a list of free agent targets just to keep me honest. Let's see if this one's good. So ignore the rankings. I don't know how old this is, but yeah, Trey Hendrickson, Pickens got tagged, didn't he? This is old. Lloyd, Kenneth Walker is gone. Brees Hall is gone. Pierce is gone. Just not that many linemen, to be honest. Travis Etienne's still out there. I doubt the Texans are in on that. I think Rico Dowdle didn't. I don't know. He's still out there. It was Javonte Williams signed. Be interesting to see where Malik Willis goes. Brian Cook, Isaac Suolamalu. That's it. That's a good name. Keep an eye out for Isaac Suolamalu. Wyatt Teller. Kyle Pitts got tagged, or he's going to get tagged. Tua's gone, probably to the Falcons. Algier, Javonte Williams got done. David Edwards from the Bills. They signed Cam Curl. AVT, that's a good name. AVT, if he can stay healthy, is promising. I don't know if you want to go for a guy that has 3 season-ending injuries in a row. I don't know if that's the move, but he's got a high ceiling. Taylor Decker, I think I'm out on him, right? He requested his release, and yeah, I'm good on that. Good on Stephon. Dallas Goedert. See what happens with him. Probably out of the Dallas Goedert conversation if you re-sign Dalton Schultz for that long. Probably out of a lot of tight end conversations. It is just such an underwhelming free agent class. Kevin Zeitler is a good name. Batonio is solid. I mean, none of these names are just going to get me hyped up, honestly. Kenneth Gainwell, you need a third back, or the Texans in on a third back. Switch back over here. Give me one sec. Shefty. Cade Otton is returning to Tampa Bay. That's a little, you re-signed Dalton Schultz. I don't think you're too invested in the tight end situation in free agency, but Cade Otton's a solid player. So he's expected to return. Okay, I'm seeing compensation for the Kenneth Walker thing. Let me try to pull it up. Okay, I don't know. This isn't reliable. Okay, here we go. We just got compensation on Kenneth Walker, which is why I've been asking for. 3-year deal worth up to $45 million. So that's what, $15 million a year. I mean, I literally said if they paid more than $15 million or less than $15 million, then I would be kind of pissed off. And $15 million is kind of the cutoff. I mean, it's not like insane. Like, yeah, it's a lot of money, but freaking NFL Super Bowl MVP, right? Highest paid free agent deal for a running back in NFL history. Got the bag for his position. I mean, that's not insane though, right? Like, to me, insane would have been like 18, 19, 20 million. 15 million for Kenneth Walker. I wonder if there were other deals on the table and he chose to go to Kansas City. I mean, I get the Texans not wanting to shell out 15 million for a running back, but then like, why would they ever shell out 20 million for a center, right? That's just, there's no way that they're in on the Tyler Linderbaum conversation. Okay, the Alec Pierce thing. Alec Pierce turned down over $30 million a year from the Patriots and the 49ers to stay with the Colts. That's for Moneyline Football. I mean, what is he thinking, right? Maybe the income tax. Maybe it wouldn't have really turned out to be the same, but looks like he chose to stay with the Colts for whatever reason. So yeah, I still got the big names out there: Tyler Linderbaum, Elijah Vera Tucker, Wyatt Teller, Braden Smith. They probably need to sign at least one more lineman, I would think. If you're the Texans, like, you probably don't feel comfortable until you've signed at least one more lineman. Cannot believe Kenneth Walker's going to the Chiefs. Wow. Bro, what are the... Wow. Dude, the Rams aren't playing around. The Rams are signing Jalen Watson to a 3-year, $51 million deal. This is after picking up Trent McDuffie from the Chiefs. They also go and sign Jalen Watson in free agency. Bro, the Rams knew they needed corner help, and they said, we are going to solve that problem now. I mean, obviously, the Rams are in win-now mode. You think Matt Stafford has probably like 1 more year, 2 more years max. Obviously, the corner need was so big for them that they had to make moves, but Trent McDuffie becomes the highest paid corner, and then you also get Jalen Watson, 3 years, $34 million guaranteed. Good for them. Good for the Rams. I mean, yeah, they have to be coming out of this season with a sour taste in their mouth. They had everything they needed except good special teams and good defense. So I'm seeing people say that the Kenneth Walker thing's too expensive. Like, what are we talking about, man? Like, come on. Brian Thomas Jr. is unlikely to be traded by the Jaguars. They only received 5th-round pick compensation for him, or at least that was the interest. What happened to him, man? I thought he was going to be so good. Let's see, what else do we have? Wow. Wow. All right, more news coming out. Some of this is going to hit close to home for Texans fans. Eagles tried really hard to get Jalen Phillips to stay with the team, but when you go to Carolina and get $80 million in guaranteed money, like, it's going to be pretty hard. I'm sorry, I'm laughing. It's not funny. It's just, I remember the Eagles trading for this guy. Everyone was kind of questioning it. It was such a win-now move. Obviously, things backfire. He just mercenaries off in free agency. 4 years, $120 million deal with the Panthers. Good for him. $30 million a year for Jalen Phillips. Put that in perspective with the Danielle Hunter extension. Obviously, this is over 4 years. $80 million in guarantees for a Panthers team that honestly needs help with their pass rush. So I think that's solid. But the stuff that's going to hit more close to home, wow. Wow. Laramie Tunsil and the Commanders reached an agreement on a 2-year, $60 million contract extension with Washington. There are $61.5 million in guarantees. That's got to be a typo, right? Including the biggest signing bonus for an offensive lineman at $32.5 million. So shout out Laramie Tunsil for getting paid. The Commanders obviously think that he can be their franchise left tackle for several more years, which, why wouldn't they? This doesn't change, nothing will ever change how I felt about Laramie Tunsil on the Houston Texans, right? Really solid individual player who was phenomenal. He was an all-star, all-pro left tackle for C.J. Stroud, and the offensive line still sucked. So you were able to sell him off, get some good draft capital for him. You didn't want to pay him. Obviously, the Commanders will. I swear they just signed him. I wonder, I got to look more at this contract, because how long do they have him extended to? I don't remember exactly what his initial contract was when he got to the Commanders and how long they extended him out. So it looks like he's on the team till 2029 now. Yeah, so he's on the team till 2029. It was a 2-year extension for 2029 and 2028. So they added 2 years to his deal. He already was on the team till 2027, I believe. I believe I have that right. mean, good for him. Good for Tunsil. It's a lot of freaking money, but it's kind of what a going left tackle rate is, right? A little more local. Michael Pittman is being traded to the Steelers. So we no longer have to deal with the monster that was Michael Pittman in Indianapolis. I'm being sarcastic. I mean, Michael Pittman was at one point a very good receiver. I think it's just been downhill recently. So that's not super. I'm not jumping for joy that Michael Pittman is no longer in the division. Interested to see what that trade looks like. It's got to be a 6th or 7th, right? There's no way they gave him a 5th for Michael Pittman. I hope not. It's probably a 6th or 7th round pick. So Pittman no longer with the Colts, probably also freeing up some room for Mr. Pierce, who they just gave the bag to, I would assume. Curious on the compensation for the Pittman deal, but we'll figure that out in a second. Yeah, I'm curious to see what the Steelers gave up for a receiver like Michael Pittman. Probably a 6th or 7th. All right, Steelers fans can calm down. Michael Pittman's not saving the offense, guys. Come on. Michael Pittman is not saving the offense. He's not as good as he once was. I like him. Had him on fantasy like 2 years ago, and he was terrible. It was like the biggest fantasy bust I've ever had, honestly. I guess Tunsil went to the Commanders and just said, I want an extension. And they said, okay. Like, didn't really seem necessary. You had him on the team till 2027. They're like, all right, we'll give you an extension. Give you the highest paid signing bonus of all time for a left tackle. For any lineman. Don't necessarily miss the Tunsil days, honestly. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, the trade opens up $24 million in cap space for the Colts. So obviously the Colts had to do that after signing Pierce. Pittman wasn't really contributing that much. Can we see what they got? What did the Colts receive for Mr. Michael Pittman would be my question. No offensive lineman moves. I mean, Tunsil gets extended, but there have been no updates on Linderbaum, on AVT, on Teller, on Braden Smith, on Bitonio, on... I said Wyatt Teller, right? Yeah, I did. Cade Mays, the Panthers center, no news on him. So the offensive linemen are still up in the air. Maybe it's because Nick Caserio right now is on the phone. He is chatting it up with Linderbaum, and they are about to close the deal right now. That's what's happening right now. I can tell you. I can predict the future. I can predict the future. Or not. Dude, X has gotten so bad. Whoa. Malik Willis reached an agreement with the Miami Dolphins. Now the Tua release is making a little more sense. Yeah, so there's no way this was done legally with the tampering, but that's okay. The NFL is the NFL. Dolphins get rid of Tua, and they say, hey, you know what? We can get it done with Malik Willis. So, I mean, I think Malik Willis could be a starter. I don't think he's got a high ceiling, but I think he could start for an NFL team. And Bobby Slowick gets his quarterback in Malik Willis. Be interesting how Bobby Slowick schemes up a running threat, a dual threat quarterback, which I would classify Malik Willis as. Really curious to see what the amount of money was on this. I'd assume it's got to be 25 minimum, right? To 30 plus. All right, Gino got like 31 and a half last year, so it's got to be 30 plus. Yeah. That's interesting. Brian says, let's go. We're getting O-line. I am sure of it. No O-line moves so far, but no other team has swooped them up either. So they're still hanging around. They are still hanging around. I'm actually a big fan of Malik Willis. I like him. Some Ravens fans were saying, like, when Lamar was hurt or whatever happened to Lamar to start this season, fans were begging for Malik Willis to be put in over Lamar Jackson. And I know that sounds crazy. I think it's because Lamar was just hurt or whatever. But, like, I like Malik Willis. I like watching him play. He's a solid quarterback. Like, I think this is good for the Dolphins. You just eat the cap hit from Tua, and you go, we never should have given him that contract, but what can we do about it now? So just waiting on the Michael Pittman compensation, see what the Colts got in exchange for him, as well as the Malik Willis deal. If you missed it, okay, here we go. Teams are swapping late round picks. Yeah, okay. Pittsburgh is preparing to sign Michael Pittman to an extension. Get ready for the terrible graphics that are going to do a little play on words there. Pittman to Pittsburgh. Swapping late round picks. So what is this, like a fifth, sixth swap? Yeah. Fifth, sixth pick swap probably. That's fine. That's about what I expected. Wow, free agency has been pretty dry if we're talking about Michael Pittman for this long. I just feel like I kind of feel bad for the Eagles, but like, come on. He was getting the bag. Oh, man. The Kenneth Walker news still hurts a little, but that's okay. Make sure I'm not missing anything. On other accounts, more localized accounts. Yeah, and then just one more thing to add on the Tunsil trade, or not the Tunsil trade, the Tunsil extension. Like, yeah, the Houston Texans obviously never wanted to be in the market to where they are paying $30 million a year for Laramie Tunsil, at least anymore, right, up to this point. So fully support the trade. You got a lot for him, and you now have a rookie left tackle who's very serviceable. I would say is better than serviceable in Ariante Ursary. The ceiling looks to be up for him. And now you can hopefully spend money on other parts of the offensive line that you need help on. But we will see. I'm just waiting for the Linderbaum news, dude. Just waiting. Oh, God. Oh, man, I saw the jersey color and it scared me. All right, Isaiah Likely gets a 3-year deal with the Giants. That's a solid move. Isaiah Likely's a good tight end. Oh, man. Dude, I got a heart attack right there. It's like, Giants get Tyler Linderbaum? What are we doing? They look so alike. But no, that's a good move for them. Like I said, when you re-sign Dalton Schultz, you're probably not going to be in the tight end market. Yeah, probably not. Logan says, who do you think the Texans are going to sign? So I'll answer this in two ways. I'll start with who I want them to sign. I would be fine with Linderbaum. I would be fine with Braden Smith. AVT is probably a little too injury prone. I'm talking about offensive line here, by the way. I'm just going to focus on that. And I wouldn't mind Wyatt Teller. The ceiling's a little low. And Cade Mays, I wouldn't mind either. So who I think they're going to sign, I think they'll probably sign either Braden Smith or Wyatt Teller or Cade Mays. Probably one of those linemen. I don't think they're going to sign Tyler Linderbaum, unfortunately, or fortunately. I don't know. They refuse to spend money on the offensive line. It is what it is. So Logan says, how much cap space do they have? I thought I saw somewhere it was like 50 million. after all the restructures, but don't quote me on that. But they have enough. I know they're not like super in the negative. They have enough to go out and get really whoever they want. Let me look it up. Because after all the restructures, I think it went up. Okay, it says 21 million, so I was way off. But yeah, they have enough. It's hard looking it up. I need like there needs to be a better app where I can look this up because it changes so frequently with all the restructures. Okay, I see 31 million now on a different website. So, I mean, they can make a move. Logan says, we need to get the O-line right so CJ can stay upright. I agree, man. They need to spend money on the offensive line, and to kind of revisit my rant earlier, the Ravens don't have a pass rush. That's the one reason they weren't contenders. What do? They get Max Crosby. The Chiefs didn't have a rushing game. That's why they weren't really contenders. Yes, Mahomes also played like shit too, but what do? They get Kenneth Walker, right? The Rams, terrible on defense, don't have any good corners. What do? They sign Trent McDuffie and Jalen Watson, right? So good teams attack their needs and they push all their chips in the table. That's what you got to do. You can't get caught in the middle. Like, you got to invest, right? If you don't like Jake Andrews, you don't think he's good enough, and you see someone like Tyler Linderbaum, like, nice things cost a lot of money. Nice players cost a lot of money sometimes. You can't take the money with you. Okay, more updates. Steelers are signing wide receiver Michael Pittman to a 3-year, $59 million deal. What is that, like $18 million? I can't really do math. Jets reached agreement today with Joseph Osai on a 3-year, $36 million deal. That is kind of irrelevant to me, but good for them. 3 years, $59 million is like fine. That's like, Michael Pittman isn't what he once was. It's like $20 million a year. It's kind of an overpay, actually. $20 million a year for Michael Pittman. Yeah, I don't know about that. And a pick swap. I don't know about that. But it's the Steelers. Steelers will be mediocre forever. Let's be real, Jake Andrews is ass. Yeah, he's not good. I mean, he's a decent player who has bad moments. Like, that's what Jake Andrews is. He was essentially a rookie last year. Never really, showed you anything elite. He was probably the worst starting offensive lineman. Oh, no, he definitely was. Trent Brown was better. Ursary was better. Titus was better. Ed Ingram was better. So he was terrible. And look, I'm not saying you have to sign Tyler Linderbaum. Tyler Linderbaum is going to get the bag. There's a lot of teams, less now, but there's a good amount of teams that need center help. And it's a really good center draft class. So if you want to draft a center in the 3rd round, I wouldn't hate that, right? Connor Lew from Auburn, Jake Slaughter from Florida, the Indiana center, I forget his name. And there's also, people are saying like Jennings Dunker could move to center or whatever. Like, I don't know about that, but maybe you could move someone to center. So it's a good draft class to pick up a center. But or you could just get the best center in the league, like one of the best centers in the league. So we'll see. None of these players, I'm like, dang. That's the thing. Like, none of these players that have been signed, I'm like, darn. So, in terms of a Texans point of view, like, you're just hoping they're in on these phone calls. You're hoping they're putting their bids in for these players, especially these offensive linemen. I mean, not a single offensive lineman has been signed, right? Laramie Tunsil got extended. I guess Kenneth Walker, but you knew Kenneth Walker wasn't going to be in the picture once they signed David Montgomery. So it's 15 million a year for Kenneth Walker, though. I mean, like, that's not crazy. Like, I would have paid that. Me personally, I would have paid that. Bunch of corners that don't really matter for the Texans. I think safety could be a position to note. Like, maybe the Texans go pick up a safety. They're a little thin at safety, honestly. And D tackle, I mean, they signed Naquan Jones. They signed Sheldon Rankins. So they're definitely more thick at D tackle than they once were. And then in terms of tight ends, like, I would love for them to sign, you know, a Dallas Goedert and Isaiah Likely. Obviously, Isaiah Likely's been signed to the Giants. But with Dalton Schultz extension, you think that they're probably not in on him. We need to get the best possible so that Texans can make a playoff push. Yeah, you have to aggressively attack your needs. 100% sure, or 100% agree. Have to aggressively attack your needs like most teams are doing, like the Ravens did, the Chiefs did, the Rams did. Kingsley, I'm gonna be real, I have no idea who this is. Bang. I have no idea who this is. I don't know Ball. Who is this? Packers D end. Okay, he had 2 sacks in 2025. I'm not familiar with your game. Okay, yeah, he only played in like 4 games. All of which the Packers lost. Am I reading this right? Okay. He goes to the Jets. Yeah, I just have no idea who that is. 2 sacks, 11.5 career sacks. Been in the league since 2022. Oh no, I'm tripping. He's played a good amount of games. Yeah, I mean, depth signing probably. It's interesting. Will they make an offensive lineman move? At this point, I just want someone. Like, can someone sign an offensive lineman so I can feel some type of way, you know? I need to see someone get signed so that I can complain or, yeah, so I can feel some type of way. Okay. Malik Willis, 3 years, $67.5 million. That's not bad value for the Dolphins. Like, that's pretty wow. I thought he would have gotten paid more than that. I don't hate that for the Dolphins at all. You move on from Tua, you get more exciting at the quarterback position. Yeah, that's fine. That's a good move for them. It'd be exciting to see what happens with the Dolphins offense now that it is being commandeered by Bobby Slowick, right? Like, if the Dolphins are extremely good and their concepts look amazing with Bobby Slowick at the helm, you'll start having some conversations about offensive evaluation with the Texans, more so than you already do have. Got me for some type of way. Yeah, the moment I get off this stream, there's gonna be like crazy offensive line news. I know it. I can tell. Okay, let's recap really quick. Jalen Phillips to the Panthers. Eagles tried extremely hard to keep him. Didn't work. They probably get a comp pick for that, right? Pittman gets out of Indy, signs a pretty expensive deal to the Steelers. Isaiah Likely goes to the Giants. Malik Willis goes to the Dolphins. Wow, so much Pittman use. Tunsil gets an extension. That's fine with me. Rams add Jalen Watson and Trent McDuffie to their secondary. Cade Otton returns to Tampa Bay. Something to keep an eye on. Kansas City gets Kenneth Walker. Crying tears a little bit there. Stokes, who I think is underrated, goes back to the Raiders. Pierce goes to the Colts, stays in Indianapolis, $30 million a year. And Kelsey will stay with the Chiefs, and the Falcons are expected to pursue Tua. Oh, man. That's great. Dude, Atlanta's going to blow up if they sign Tua as some ridiculous deal. Atlanta is going to lose their minds if they sign Tua over Malik Willis. Jets are spending a good amount of money in free agency. Former Saints linebacker Demario Davis, who I believe is a little older, signing an agreement with the Jets on 2 years, $22 million. That includes 15 fully guaranteed. Demario Davis is a solid linebacker. The Jets just seem to be getting as many bodies in the rooms as they can. Yeah, I mean, they need everything. Literally, they need everything. Everything except running back, really. So it'll be interesting to see their rebuild. You got to think that, what's his name? Aaron Glenn is fighting for his job right now. Or this is probably the last year he gets. If it's another bad year, I don't know if he stays. Demario Davis is solid. I was curious if he was going to go to the Colts, because the Colts need linebacker help now that they traded Zaire Franklin. So either way, I'm not tweaking over Mr. Davis. I'd probably give it like, say, 10 or so more minutes just to see if we get any offensive line news. Like, I was expecting something to happen with the offensive linemen. Maybe they're just all playing hardball. They've all formed a coalition and they don't want to be getting ripped off. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see anything else. No, Instagram's a little late to it, but I just need one offensive lineman, man. Can I get one offensive lineman? Very quiet first day for the Houston Texans. I hope this isn't foreshadowing days to come. I hope they have to sign at least one lineman. Okay, here we go. Here's some more news. Slightly relevant. So we went over the Demario Davis thing. It's fine. It's solid. Austin Hooper, 1 year, $3.25 million to the Falcons. Like, this is actually a move that I'm kind of pissed off about, because I would have loved to see him fill out the Texans' offensive line. I mean, a tight end room. 1 year, $3.25 million. Is he from Atlanta? Let me look that up. No, he's from California. Yeah, so like, could the Texans have been in on Austin Hooper for 1 year, $3.25 million? Like, sure. Like, that's something that's kind of irritating, that he's going to go to the Falcons for $3 million. It's a solid depth tight end to sit behind Schultz. Like, that's an annoying move. That's the first one where I'm really kind of like, okay, that could have been done. The Titans have agreed to a 2-year deal with Mitchell Trubisky. I love it. Yes. I love it, man. Let's go. Good for them. This is a great move for the Tennessee Titans. All right, I'm trolling. Yeah, he's a backup, right? He's a backup in case Cam Ward gets hurt. I guess this is the end of the Will Levis days in Tennessee. So I'm sorry. I love it. This is great. This is a great deal for the AFC South. For everyone in the AFC South except the Titans, this is a solid deal. I'm trolling, but that's funny. Okay, this is probably the most irritating signing. I know it's like a meaningless kind of drop in the bucket, but like the Kenneth Walker thing, I'm not upset about because you had David Montgomery. You knew you were out of the sweepstakes, whatever. The Laramie Tunsil thing, definitely not upset about that. Alec Pierce, yeah, it's upsetting, but if he wanted to stay with the Colts, like, would you have liked to see him out of the division? Sure. But a deal like this, come on, that could have been done. The Texans could have done this. I actually bet on Austin Hooper a good amount. Fun fact, like 2 years ago. And he would always hit the over. He would always hit the over, surprisingly, because they used him a lot. Before, maybe it was Drake May's rookie year. Might be getting that mixed up. Let's flip back to Schefter. See if Schefter's got any more information. Dude, Schefter's been kind of late. Like, Schefter has not been... I'm going to have to stick with Pelissero. Schefter's not been doing it for me lately. Still no offensive lineman. We are an hour and 12 in. I wonder if teams are backing out of the Linderbaum deals. I don't know. Or maybe he's just working extremely hard with the Ravens to try to get it done. And he's got too many offers on the table. But if you're Linderbaum, dude, this is the perfect time to be a free agent center. Like, break the market. Don't be handcuffed to the Ravens. Brian says Hooper and Schultz in a 2 tight end set would have been nice. Yeah, Austin Hooper is a solid tight end. He's a better blocker than Schultz. He's a better receiver than Cade Stover. Like, this is a deal that is kind of irritating, honestly. And I know it's like kind of a meaningless deal to most, but I mean, if you need tight end depth, you know. I mean, the Falcons have Kyle Pitts. The Falcons franchise tagged Kyle Pitts, and they're still looking for tight end depth. Granted, maybe, you know, they move on, but yeah, I mean, Dalton Schultz should not get in the way of depth signings like this. I mean, and you know, maybe they just don't like his game, I guess. I mean, I've actually watched a lot of Austin Hooper. Like I said, I used to bet on this dude for no good reasons, but okay, there we go. The Bucks are signing former Steelers running back Kenneth Gainwell, 2 years, $14 million. But that's what I'm saying, right? So Kenneth Gainwell gets $7 million a year. You currently have David Montgomery for $9 million a year. And I think Gainwell is a nice complementary piece, but I don't think he's on the same level as David Montgomery. I think David Montgomery is an excellent back. So that kind of shows you, you know, you got pretty decent value with David Montgomery. Yes, you had to give up a 4th round pick. So I don't want to just ignore that, but that kind of puts into perspective the both the David Montgomery and the Kenneth Walker moves. Brian says, I would be surprised if we get Tyler Linderbaum. Yeah, the reporting hasn't really had the Texans anywhere close to Linderbaum. I think it's been Well, obviously Ravens, and then I think it's been, shoot, I'm blanking. There's two other teams. Yeah, but it wasn't the Texans. Was it Raiders, Browns? No, I don't know. It was other teams that were interested in Linderbaum. I bet he's trying to stay with the Ravens, you know, especially now that Max Crosby got there. I bet he's trying everything in his power to take the team-friendly deal with the Ravens, but I would be pretty shocked if he went to the Texans. Good move for the Bucks, though. Kenneth Gainwell is a nice complimentary piece. $7 million a year. It's not bad. Raiders, yeah, okay. Was the Raiders. See, that's the thing. Like, if you're Tyler Linderbaum, are you choosing the Raiders over the Ravens? Like, it would have to be, you would have to tax them, right? Like, there'd have to be a pretty sizable tax. So, who knows? Maybe the Raiders are desperate enough. They're just willing to give it to him. All right, let me check, make sure nothing has slipped through the cracks. Nope. Yeah, latest deal was Kenneth Gainwell. And what was it? I think it was the free agency like 2 years ago. That was insane. Yeah, the free agency where we got Daniil Hunter. That was an insane free agency. It was like news every second. Yeah, Schefter's been late. I'm not rocking with Schefter because at least Pelissero will repost. Still no offensive lineman. Everyone is still on the board. If I were to rank the offensive linemen that I'd want the Houston Texans to sign, Linderbaum would be first. You know, provided it's not $30 million a year, which I'm obviously exaggerating, but like, yeah, you're gonna have to pay a lot, but don't go too crazy. So Linderbaum would be the first, then probably Braden Smith, I think, at tackle. Or no, I'm gonna back that up. I think maybe Wyatt Teller at guard. I probably want them to draft a tackle to start in front of Trent Brown. Ryan says, bro, the offensive linemen free agents are definitely getting a lot of offers because none of them have signed. Crazy. It will be a domino effect once one or two of them sign. Yeah, you're definitely right. I mean, I bet Linderbaum's got 4 or 5 offers on the table. Probably just jacking up the price. Wow, another deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Is this, yeah, can y'all see this? Yes, you can. Okay. Alex Anzalone on a 2-year, $17 million deal from the Detroit Lions to the Bucs. That's a solid linebacker piece. Anzalone's good. I'll always remember Anzalone. He was the dude who, like, Kenneth Walker ran over, was like laying backwards on, didn't touch the ground, like got up and like kept running. So I'll always remember him for that in Detroit. But yeah, that's a decent signing. The Bucs do seem to be, I mean, these aren't huge moves, don't get me wrong. Bringing K. Daughton back, getting Alex Anzalone, getting Kenneth Gainwell. You know, it's not crazy moves, but they're doing something. Brian says he heard the Bears were in on him. I'm assuming you mean, do you mean Linderbaum or Anzalone? I'm assuming you mean Anzalone because the Bears, didn't the Bears just trade for a center? They traded for like the Dolphins center or something. ESPN just mocked the Dolphins' new offense, which is Malik Willis, Achane, and Waddle. Which is like cool. That's cool, I guess, but they're not scaring me, honestly. Can Bobby Slowick utilize them is the real question. Can Bobby Slowick utilize Malik Willis, Achane, and Waddle? I mean, that's a pretty decent situation, All right, there's no longer going to be the Tua excuse for Bobby Slowick. Like he's going to have a solid starter, a dual threat quarterback, and a lot of speed on the team. Anzalone because they let go of Tremont Edmonds. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, as long like if he would have went to the Colts because the Colts just traded Zaire Franklin, that would have been one thing. But the Colts, like, it feels like they have no money. Like they're having to sign Pierce, let go of Pittman. I feel like the Colts' cap space situation like isn't great, especially with the Daniel Jones thing. Wow, Anzalone turned down more money elsewhere to join the Bucks. There you go, Brian. He probably got offered more in Chicago. So that's probably what happened. Yeah. All right, I wanted to get at least one offensive line move in, but I don't know if I'm going to get my wish. So we shall see. But literally none of these players were on my board. I mean, Hooper was, so that's annoying, but and then obviously Walker, Isaiah Likely, but he's too expensive for them now that they have Schultz probably. Yeah. Bears are signing safety Kobe Bryant. That's a good move. And the Commanders are signing veteran cornerback Amik Robertson to 2 years, $16 million. That's fine. I mean, what happened to the Commanders is like Jaden Daniels got hurt and then they just imploded. So they definitely have some building blocks to make to get back to where they were. And then the Bears are signing Kobe Bryant. I like Kobe Bryant. He played well for the Rams. Or not the Rams, the Seahawks. Did feel like the Seahawks weren't going to be able to hold on to everyone in that secondary. So that's a good signing for the Bears. Need to see the compensation on that for sure. I wanted us to let go of Schultz and get Likely. Yeah, Schultz is on the team in 2026 no matter what. You would have had to like trade him or something. But certainly they could have gotten Likely without extending Schultz. And now that they've extended Schultz for 2027, they're probably not, in on a player like Likely. I mean, Schultz is what he is at this point. He's a solid receiver. He can act as that safety blanket. He's not going to give you anything after the catch. He's not going to block. Like, he's not super physical. He's not super athletic. I mean, I'm just worried about the drop off. Like, I would not have signed Schultz through 2027. 2026 would have been the last year, and I would have said, see ya. All right, I'm going to take a 5-minute break. I will be right back. See y'all in a second. And I am back. Whoops. Okay, I didn't miss anything in my brief break. Make sure I'm not missing anything. I do wonder how the Seahawks are going to recover from Montgomery leaving. Not Montgomery, Walker. I don't see any new news. Don't see anything new yet. Probably we'll give this till 1, guys, and then we'll hop off here. Kobe Bryant, the last big move that we've made, or that's been made so far. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I totally agree. I also think that this team really wants to utilize tight ends, and Schultz is very one-dimensional, so he's not exactly the most versatile guy you can put out there. No changes yet. Oh, Pelissero missed one. Man, just as I was hyping him up, he misses a move. Former Vikings punter Ryan Wright is signing a 4-year, $14 million deal that includes $8 million guaranteed with the Saints. Bang. Bang. Just joking. That's a punter news. We're on punter news now. Punter news is never a spot you want to be in. Go back to Rap Sheet. I forgive Rappaport for not having the Vikings punter news. When do you think the Texans will start to make moves in free agency? I mean, yeah, you would have thought they would have done something by now. But I mean, I don't know. I would assume they're going to sign at least 1 or 2 offensive linemen. But I mean, that should have happened by now, you could say. Might happen later today, might happen tomorrow, might happen Wednesday. Needs to happen by Wednesday at 3 Central, I think, 3 p.m. Central. So yeah, they should make a move at some point, either today, tomorrow, or before 3 p.m. on Wednesday. But the fact that no offensive linemen have been signed makes me wonder. I mean, I don't know. It's very peculiar. I don't know if I can remember a position group just like not signing. Maybe everyone's waiting for Linderbaum, see where he falls, and then kind of fit in there. I don't know. No one wants to be first. But I think they're, the biggest Texans need in free agency is offensive linemen. And the fact that there's been none that have come out, it's like, okay, maybe the Texans are involved, and it's like they're waiting. So when the first offensive lineman gets signed, I think maybe we wait and see if there's a Texans move that's following. I think that's a good sanity check. Yeah, there's still no offensive lineman. Surely people are tweeting about this, right? Or posting on X about this? Xing about this? Oh, okay. Apparently the punter news was an overpay. Oh, Dolphins fans, we got rid of Tua and we're bringing in Tua too. Come on, man. Come on. Malik Willis is decent. Don't do that. Don't say that. Oh my God. That's funny. Can I get an offensive lineman? Why can't I find you? I'm at the point where like I don't want to get off until I see an offensive lineman go somewhere. Because that was kind of the whole point, right? Like to see the Texans, oh, they signed Braden Smith. Oh, they signed Wyatt Teller. Oh, okay. Now we can change our mock draft strategies. But I mean, like the mock draft strategy before free agency today is the exact same as it is right now. Like there's been no change. Offensive lineman, maybe a tight end, maybe a running back later. I guess you could say like D tackles are a little more solidified because of the re-signings. But I just want to see an offensive lineman get signed at this point. I don't care where he goes. I don't care where he goes. Just let me see a big guy get signed, man. Give me something to think about. Give me something to react to. Come on. Might just be cooling down right now, honestly. Okay, we got another punter deal. I'm not even going to read that out. Oh, 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 oh. All right. Okay. So I'm not seeing this reported anywhere other than a local reporter. But, if this is true, then we have it. Cade Mays. According to Aaron Wilson, Houston Texans reporter, Cade Mays, 3-year, $25 million contract to the Lions. So there you go. That's the first offensive. That's the only offensive line news I've gotten Cade Mays was a solid starter for the Panthers. I wouldn't say he's anywhere near elite, but that kind of gives you a reference point. 3 years, $25 million. Not exactly breaking the bank for him. But I haven't seen anything to confirm that. He was probably the second best center. But again, I haven't seen anyone confirm that. So maybe Aaron's just super early. Wow, I'm seeing so much punter news. I don't care. Yeah, so Cade Mays, solid player. I think, there's a chance he is. I definitely think he's better than Jake Andrews, but I wouldn't say it's like a huge difference. Honestly, he's definitely better, but the gap between him and Linderbaum is like a canyon, right? So. Brian brings up a good point. Not the kind of guy I would have wanted, so it's good to know Lions may be out of the market for offensive line. Yeah, Lions look like they're dropping out of Linderbaum market and, at least the center market. So there you go. I don't hate that move. Like, if Cade Mays would have gone to the Texans, like, I definitely see it as an upgrade. I don't see it as like a huge, insane upgrade. I'm just trying to wait until I get, I need like Adam Schefter or someone to report it. But I trust Aaron. He does good work. So that seems to be the news. That seems to be the offensive line news we're going to get. $14 million guaranteed for Mr. Mays. Okay, yeah, I'm not seeing anything, so we'll go back. Let's go back. Cade Mays would have been the guy that Bill O'Brien would have wanted. We need to get a guy that Miko wants. Yeah, I think D'Amico Ryans needs to be in on the offensive line conversations. So, I totally agree. Yeah, Cade Mays is fine. I mean, the deal isn't like, it's not expensive by any means. So that's the one thing. It's like, $8 million for a center. It's like not terrible, right? Like, it's like, even if Cade Mays is like solid, like that's it's fine value. Like I don't hate that for the Lions, especially since they need some offensive line help. But I will say too, because I don't think I flat out said this, but I will say there's a very real chance that the Houston Texans are perfectly fine with Jake Andrews coming back as starting center. I think you could definitely upgrade Jake Andrews, but I mean, what do we know about Jake Andrews, right? Former Patriots draft pick. He's already played a year in the system. They constantly talked about how he was injured and playing through a bunch of injuries, and, he's the right guy. They like his personality. They could be there's a chance they're not even in the center market. Like, they haven't even sent a single phone call to Tyler Linderbaum, man. Like, that's on the table. So we could just be, barking up the wrong tree or whatever. Whatever that phrase is. That's not the right phrase. You could just be making a whole lot of nothing out of nothing. But yeah, I mean, like I said, Jake Andrews, we know for sure Ursary and Ed Ingram are starting. There's a chance that Jake Andrews, they want to start him. There's a chance that they want to start Trent Brown. Trent Brown is better at his position than Jake Andrews is. But there's a chance they're like, all we need is a left guard, which would kind of infuriate me. But I'm not a GM, unfortunately, or fortunately. Do the Texans have the money to get Linderbaum? They could make it work. If they set out and said, we want Tyler Linderbaum, they could make it work. Unless there's some crazy bargaining price, right? And he just, like, if someone gives Linderbaum $26 million a year, I'm like, okay, I don't want him. Like, that's too much money. But, for a reasonable amount of money that breaks the market, if they wanted him, they could make it work. They wanted Tyler Linderbaum. They could 100% make it work. So, Cade Mays, though, off the board officially for the Houston Texans. As I mentioned, they might just not even be in the market for a center. They might just be thinking, all we need is a left guard, and we're chilling. So, certainly on the table. I still haven't seen anyone else post the Cade Mays news, so I don't know if it's like, I would assume it's legit, but Schefter and Rappaport, I don't think have posted it. So I just want to make sure I'm telling you all the right stuff. Yeah, I just keep getting punter news. 3 punters got signed. Don't care, honestly. Let's see, what else? Probably stay on for like 20 more minutes. Probably stay on until 1, guys. It appears Cade Mays is the only lineman that has negotiated and been signed. So, let's see. The Texans make, let's see. Now that we got Ingram, now that we have Ingram, what do you think about trading for Trent Williams and moving Ursary to right, then drafting a guard, and in drafts we keep Andrew? So look, be perfectly clear when I say this. Trent Williams is still a top 3, top 2, you could argue the best tackle in the NFL. 100% agree. Yes, he's aging. Yes, he's older. He's still elite. I don't like the idea of paying all the money to Trent Williams. I don't like messing up Ursary's development. I think Ursary can be a franchise left tackle. I don't like messing up his development, moving him to right tackle and throwing in Williams at left. Yes, we would be better for day 1, but when you factor in all the money you'd have to pay him, when you factor in the fact that Trent Williams is getting older, like that's a real thing, I'm out on Trent Williams. Put the money somewhere else. I think Ursary's good enough. I think he'll be better in his sophomore season. So I'm not a huge fan on Trent Williams. Lazy Boy says a lot to do about nothing. Did I say that? I'm basically just saying that, like, if they're not even interested in centers, I might just be talking about this for no reason. That's basically what I was trying to say. If the Texans make no moves in the offensive line, I'm going to be pissed. We need to make it as good as possible so we can help C.J. Stroud do good. Yeah, I agree. They need to upgrade this offensive line. All the other good teams have attacked their needs, whether it's the Rams with their corners, the Ravens with their pass rush, the Chiefs with their rushing attack. I mean, the Steelers have added pieces. I'm not going to really throw them in that combo, but yeah, no offensive line moves for the Texans yet. No moves at all, actually, I should add, for the Texans yet. So I think there's a real chance they just say all we need is a left guard, and that's what we're going to do in the draft, is go get a left guard, which would certainly be underwhelming, but that's on the list of possibilities. Let's see. I don't see anything from Mr. Aaron Wilson. Let me look up Tom Pelissaro. Yep, so there you go. Officially, Lions signing. See you, Brian. Appreciate that. Officially, Pelissaro, Lions signing Cade Mays. There you go. So shout out to Aaron Wilson, because he was very early on that. Very early on that. And the Falcons are signing a kicker, Nick Folk. Shout out Nick Folk. Yeah, I was going to say, he's been in the league forever. Commanders signing cornerback Amik Robertson. I think I talked about that. Seems to be quieting down. We'll give it about 15 more minutes just to see. Just to see if someone sneaks in a move. I'm just gonna throw up. Aaron had better. He had better reporting on the Cade Mays stuff. Raiders, Linderbaum at Raiders? Did the Raiders sign Linderbaum? Let's see. Oh, shit. Yeah, there she goes. Brian, right as you're about to get off, man, that's how it always works. Former Ravens free agent center Tyler Linderbaum reached an agreement today on a record deal with the Raiders, who are awarding him 3 years, 80. Holy shit. 3 years, $81 million deal that includes $60 million guaranteed. Makes him the highest paid interior offensive lineman, so we're including guards, in the NFL. Oh, wow. Yeah, so that's too expensive. That's what I'm saying, right? If the reporting was that Linderbaum was deciding between the Ravens and the Raiders, I said, like, okay, he's going to have to tax them. 3 years, $80 million is insane. That is insane. I mean, it's $27 million a year on a center. So yeah, the Linderbaum conversation, we're done. It's gone. Yeah, they weren't in the market for that. They weren't doing that. So shout out to Linderbaum, man. He gets his bag, but wow, that is so high. That is he had a bunch of people just waiting to. He was in a bidding war, man. So yeah, that's fine. So the Texans are either drafting a center or they're rolling with Jake Andrews. To me, that seems like the way it's going to go, because you've got Cade Mays has been signed, Tyler Linderbaum is gone. So I'm not going to get excited about any other center really in free agency. Yeah, that's what I mean. They weren't paying that. So maybe the call was like, hey, Linderbaum, how you doing? $27 million a year. Done. Yeah, hang up. We're not doing that. That is so much higher than I was expecting, honestly. Like obviously I'm expecting can I click on what I want to click on? Dude, X, come on. Yeah. Yeah, wow. Like, yeah, I'm good. Thank you. I'm good. I'm good on that one. It's insane, dude. I think the projection was like 20 million, and we're at 27 with him. So, yeah, good on that. What do you guys think about that? What do we think about Linderbaum going to the Raiders? I mean, hell, for $27 million a year, I don't blame him at all for going to the Raiders. So there you go. Top centers go off the board. You're still looking at Braden Smith. You're still looking at Wyatt Teller. So hopefully in the next 10 or so minutes, we start to see kind of that domino effect of offensive linemen falling. Look, Tyler Linderbaum, best center in the league, probably. Amazing run blocker. Very solid pass blocker. I'm not paying $27 million for a center. Good on that one. Shout out the Raiders, who, yeah, I mean, I respect Tyler Linderbaum as a player, but that is insane to me. I mean, you're paying him like he's a tackle. I mean, he's good. I mean, I knew he was gonna. Damn, I knew he was gonna get the bag, but that's shocking. That puts him right behind Penei Sewell. That deal puts him right behind Penei Sewell. Good for him, man. Good for him. Good for him. I think they draft a center, honestly. I think you should draft a center. I think you go for Jake Slaughter or Connor Liu. I'm not going to get excited about running it back with Jake Andrews. That's not appealing to me. I don't love it. And so the Ravens, oh yeah, they got a little swap here. I didn't even pick up on this at first. The Ravens traded for Max Crosby, and the Raiders now take Tyler Linderbaum. Nice little elite swap of two solid players. Yeah, so Linderbaum broke the record for interior offensive linemen by $3 million a year. Yeah, that's good for him, man. Yeah, out on that. Thanks, but no thanks. All right, I still think we need to get a guard or a tackle. So if the Texans want to sign someone, please do so. Lazy Boy says he's terrified of potential rookie left guard and rookie center combo. I kind of agree. Like, it just depends on who it is, right? Like, I don't necessarily care if there's two rookies next to each other on a line. If they're good rookies and they're high draft picks, like, that's fine. So I certainly understand what you're saying, especially when you have Ursary, who's a second-year player. There's just not much experience. But get the best lineman, you know. Like, whoever's playing the best in training camp, whoever deserves the spot, just put him there, man. I understand the whole, like, we need a veteran thing, but that's what Trent Brown's for. And if he starts, great. If he doesn't, that's fine. He's a good backup. If they draft a center in the second round, I'll lose my mind. I just want to make that clear. I know people don't always appreciate, like, the positional value thing in the draft, but I don't, good on that. It's kind of like paying a center $27 million. It's like, wow, we could be the first to break that market, but do we really want to? Like, no, I'm good. Good for the Raiders. Okay, Tyler Algier reached an agreement today with the Arizona Cardinals. So scratch Tyler Algier off of your running back list. I thought there was a chance that maybe the Texans pick up an additional running back piece like Tyler Algier, but obviously you don't need to now that you have David Montgomery. You could also draft a running back as well. So that's fine. I'd be interested to see what the deal was, but no more Tyler Algier either. Let's just make sure we're not missing anything on Mr. Pelissero. Yeah, here we go. 2-year, $12.25 million deal, so just above $6 million a year. That is less than Kenneth Gainwell, which to me checks out. Again, more perspective around the 2-year, $9 million average annual value for David Montgomery. So, again, I think David Montgomery's better than Tyler Algier. I think David Montgomery's better than Kenneth Gainwell. It checks out. Getting him at $9 million a year that's fine. Solid. This all checks out. I still think you can draft a running back. So that all checks out. All right, we're going to give it about 5 more minutes to see if the Texans make any moves. Here is Rap Sheet's report on Linderbaum, which is just insane to me. And then reporting on Mike Evans, saying Mike Evans is departing the Bucs. I think I touched on that. Like, it's probably the right time for him to move on, you would think. So in terms of like top names out there, if we just kind of go back through this from the top down, and this is kind of an old article, but it'll serve its purpose. Trey Hendrickson, still jury's out. George Pickens was tagged. Linderbaum to the Raiders. Lloyd, believe, is still available. Dean still available. Kenneth Walker to the Chiefs. Kyler Murray expected to go to... I'm blanking on where he was supposed to go to. Breece Hall stays with the Jets. Pierce stays with the Colts. Mike Evans. Jalen Phillips goes to the Panthers. Telling you, man, make the move, Texans. Get Isaac Seumalo. Willis to the Dolphins. Watson to the Rams. Tua to the Falcons, potentially. Algier to the... whatever he just did. What was that? Cardinals. Williams stays with the Cowboys. David Edwards is available. Still a lot of names. A lot of potential names for the Texans to go pick up. Come on, give me something. Give me something. No. Give it about 5 more minutes. See if any Texans news comes at the buzzer. Let me make sure that I'm not missing anything. It's been a very quiet free agency to start for the Houston Texans, I have to say. Potentially a little disappointing. One thing I did miss is the Titans signed free agent tight end Daniel Bellinger to reunite with Brian Dable. So there's that. But in terms of Texans news, really not much there, guys, to be honest. Oscar says, need a big interior offensive line for sure. I totally agree. Isaac Seumalo, Wyatt Teller, Braden Smith, I know he's a tackle. Seems like you're not getting a center this free agency with Cade Mays and Tyler Linderbaum getting the bag. Tyler Linderbaum got more than I could have ever imagined him getting, $27 million a year. Yowza. But the only reasonable lineman that the Texans could have signed that is no longer available is Cade Mays. So that's the only player that you probably realistically had on your board that is no longer there. So you still got a good amount of options. Let's hit the refresh. Whoa, okay. A little more relevant here. Travis Etienne will be signing with the New Orleans Saints. NOLA. He's from Louisiana, and it was important for him to be near home. So the Houston Texans will no longer need to see Travis Etienne twice a year. One of the better running backs available. He's better than Gainwell. He's better than Algier. I don't think he's better than David Montgomery. I know that's debatable. But he's out of the division, so that's a little more significant. Little more significant there. I'm still happy with the David Montgomery move, especially if Travis Etienne wanted to go home. Yeah, I agree, Logan. At least he's out of the AFC South. 100% agree. Kevin says, same old Texans. Kind of have to agree. This is a team that just won't spend the bag really in free agency on the offensive line. Even when that's a glaring issue, they refuse to do it. They refuse to do it. Let's do some last checks here just to make sure that nothing has happened. Let's go switch over to Mr. Aaron Wilson, who was early on the Cade Mays news. Yeah, nothing new there. That is his last post. Tom Pelissero. Slightly relevant. This was reported to have been in the works. Wan'Dale Robinson is signing with the Titans. Brian Daboll bringing yet another Giants weapon to his new team. It's a solid move. You know, wide receiver 3. Upside wide receiver 2. But, I mean, Travis Etienne leaving the division is definitely more impactful for Texans fans than this guy. So. Wan'Dale Robinson. Go back to Wilson. Nothing there. Go back to Pelissero. Nothing there. Let's go to Rap Sheet. $4 years for $78 million. So that's almost $20 million a year. I guess that's the price of entry for a receiver now. For a receiver 2. I guess it'll be the receiver 2. So there's the compensation on that. Pelissero. And we have a Patriots D lineman. Chris Tonga is signing with the Chiefs. 3 years, $21 million. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know much about him, to be honest. So I don't have much input on that. It seems like the Texans are content with Sheldon Rankins and Tommy Togiai and Naquan Jones, who they signed to a 2-year, $2 million deal, I believe. Naquan Jones, I think, could be a project for them. I think he could turn into I think he could be next year's Tommy Togiai. Maybe not as good, but kind of have that blossoming impact. He was pretty solid. I mean, he had a sack, I think. He was pretty solid when he played for us. The Texans, everything they touch in terms of defensive line turns to gold. So I'm not really going to ever question a contract that the Texans make on the defensive line. And the Eagles wide receiver Jahan Dotson reached an agreement with the Falcons, 2 years, $15 million, worth up to $17 million, including $10 million fully guaranteed. So the Eagles are kind of getting gutted. Have the Eagles signed anyone? So I know the Texans haven't signed anyone, but we also haven't lost anyone. Eagles it'd be interesting to see what happens with Dallas Goedert, because Jalen Phillips they were in on, who left. Jahan Dotson, I know that's not a crazy impact player, but he's gone. So it'll be interesting to see if the Eagles make any more moves. All right, I'm going to just hope and pray that the moment I get off of this live stream, the Texans don't. Hold on. This is interesting. So Travis Etienne, 4 years, $52 million. So that's $13 million a year. I mean, that makes the David Montgomery signing look pretty decent. Let's see what else. There's the Adam Schefter stamp of approval. Man, are the Texans going to make anything happen? Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like today will be the Texans' day. Let's do some rounds real quick. Yeah, I don't see anything else. All right, we'll wait for one more player to get signed, and then we'll hop off here. Unless the Texans do something at the buzzer, which I am kind of just gaslighting myself into hoping for. Let's go to Rap Sheet really quick. What do you guys think about the Texans not making moves to start free agency? And there's a lot of time. There's 2 more days. There's obviously, you know, stuff happens until nighttime through the night. But if you were thinking that the Texans were really in on a player just right off jump to start, you can certainly put those thoughts to rest because, yeah, they were not. I'm just trying to see if there's anything. I'm trying to wait for the next guy. Let's wait for the next player to get signed, and then we'll hop off. Let's see. But I will say, you know, while that hasn't been the most active day of free agency, the Texans did make a lot of moves re-signing players. I mean, I made a whole video on that, and then you can add Naquan Jones, Ed Ingram's probably the biggest name. Certainly Trent Brown as well, EJ Speed. So Mo Alley Cox as a blocking tight end from the Colts could be an intriguing name. Yeah, and so Kenneth Walker's making probably around $15 million a year compared to David Montgomery's $9 million. It's the right move. All right, pop it open one more time. All right, no one else is getting signed. This is the never-ending live stream. So yeah, ETN seems to be the last person. We might call it at that. Let me just do some checks, make sure I'm not missing anything. Don't think I am. All right, we'll give it till like 1:11. Give it a couple more minutes. See if there's any other big name that's worth talking about that gets signed. Kind of an underwhelming free agency. The Linderbaum news was the biggest thing for sure, but I don't think that was extremely. Yeah, once the amount got to that much, it's like, okay, we're good on that. Logan asks, any moves yet? No, sir. Not a single Texans move has been made. Not a single Houston Texans move has been made, whether it's O-line, D-line, quarterback, water boy. Not a single move has been made. But I'm still... Oh, okay. Yeah, this is a little... Okay, here we go. The Saints are signing former Bills guard David Edwards, sources say. So there goes a guard that was definitely on the list of options for the Houston Texans. I don't think David Edwards is as good as Suamalu, but that's a kind of more of a budget-ish option that comes off the board. So we've seen 2 centers go. We've seen a guard go now. So just want to try to see if I can find someone that has the compensation. But I'm not seeing anything yet. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on the compensation. But there goes another guard off the list. So the Houston Texans not in on David Edwards. Zodiac says, what's the situation with the 49ers left tackle being traded to Texans? So Trent Williams was offered an extension by the 49ers. It was seen as a low ball offer. So Trent Williams himself expressed discomfort at the idea of being lowballed. So a lot of teams are in on the situation. The tie to the Houston Texans is that Trent Williams is from Texas. His whole family lives in Texas. I believe he has a house in Texas as well. So that is kind of the tie. I am sort of in the minority in that I don't really want Trent Williams to come to the Texans because he's aging. It would be really expensive. Yes, he's still a phenomenal left tackle. But you would also kind of throw a wrench in Ariante Ursery's development, and I think Ariante Ursery can be a cheap franchise left tackle for his rookie deal. So that's the situation with Trent Williams. If Trent Williams takes a budget cut to come home to Texas, that's a whole different story. But I don't know if I want to be paying top of the market for Trent Williams when I'd rather see the money go to I guess now, can't throw it at Tyler Linderbaum, can't throw it at, I guess you throw it at a guard. But I certainly could be talked into the Trent Williams hype. He's elite. He's just aging, and you have Ariante Ursery. He would be your right tackle. Trent Brown would be your backup. But Logan says, and yet the Texans have not done anything, of course. It is a feeling that we've all just kind of gotten used to. The Houston Texans not doing much. More punter news. Well, this one didn't even get signed. They released a punter. The Giants released a punter. Don't care. Oh, okay, here's the compensation. 4 years, $61 million deal. That is pretty standard. I mean, that's not... Hold on, I was thinking that was $20 million a year. I'm way off. That's not terrible. 4 years, $61 million. Rockwell says he, referring to Trent Williams, has a house in Houston. Him and Adrian Peterson are boys. Okay, there you go. Yeah. I knew he had a house in Houston, or in Texas. I didn't know it was in Houston, but yeah, so bringing Trent Williams home, I mean, certainly you can kind of see the appeal. So it's $15 million a year. So that is about $3 million more than Ed Ingram. So David Edwards gets $3 million more than Ed Ingram. Look, if they don't make an interior offensive line move, they're drafting a lineman in the first or second round. Like that it is what it is. I still think they could go for Suamalu. I think that's still on the table. But yeah, there does certainly seem to be a little bit of frustration with fans around the lack of movement from the front office and from Nick Caserio, which I totally get. I'm in on that too. Wow. What are we doing, Raiders? Raiders have agreed to terms with the wide receiver Jalen Naylor on 3 years, $35 million. I thought that said 2 years. So that makes a lot more sense. Raiders are preparing for Mendoza. You've got Linderbaum. You've got wide receiver options. preparing to protect and provide weapons for Mendoza. Yeah, 3 years, $35 million makes way more sense than 2 years, $35 million for Jalen Naylor. Receivers are expensive, though. All right, guys, I think I'm slowly giving up hope. My hope is fading. 3 offensive linemen that the Texans could have at least been interested are off the board. Linderbaum, Mays, and Edwards. So maybe they're just working on the Trent Williams deal. That's what it is. I don't know. A part of me also is like, you just got rid of Tunsil, right? Because you wanted to get younger and cheaper on the line. Do you really want to bring in Trent Williams? I just don't see it. I don't see the Trent Williams connection unless, again, he really wants to come home and he gives them a really friendly deal. But, yeah, I don't see it. But that is probably we're going to wrap up this stream. So appreciate y'all for stopping through. Unfortunately, it was not an interesting stream, at least from the Texans' point of view. It was interesting in general. But yeah, I'll be putting more content up about the stream, about the draft, about free agency. So let me know what you guys think about that. And stay tuned for more content. Thank y'all so much.